No! No! No!
Horror Pop Extravaganza.
What is up, all of you beautiful souls out there in the world? We are back, and it is time for the Horror Pop Extravaganza, where the macabre meets the mindful. And you're probably wondering, you're like, Lil Duke, Pops, what you doing with these kids? Like, this ain't some kind of kidnapping thing, is it? And it's like, no, we promise it's not. It's nothing crazy like this. We have such a special episode for you today. And we got to talking about it a little bit, and we're like, yo, this makes total sense. This makes total sense. We should bring on, because at first I just asked my wonderful son, which is kind of amazing that both our sons are named Logan and they're both with us here today, but we'll let them introduce themselves here in just a second. But the fact that we both, I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm going to ask my kid if he wants to be on the podcast. Like, let's do a, as a subject matter expert. Like, I've watched my son play Five Nights at Freddy's since its very first inception, all the way up until right now. We took a 2-hour car drive one time to go see my mom. He told me the lore the entire 2 hours. I was like, tell me about Five Nights at Freddy's. And he's like, okay, absolutely crushed it. And then you said the same thing. You're like, yo, my Logan's been in Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, he loves this stuff. And I'm like, okay, man, why don't we get both on the show as subject matter experts of people who have been around this thing for a long time, while also kind of taking a deep dive and a cool look at the newest iteration, the cinematic iteration of, I saw that, Logan, of Five Nights at Freddy's, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, for lack of a better title, which just released this month in December. And when I looked just now, so we saw it, this episode will be coming out later, but right now it is still opening weekend. And I looked at the box office return on it, and it is just, we're probably going to get Five Nights at Freddy's 3, 4, 5, I could imagine, because this thing is just dominating at the box office. Even in the face of all of the critics across the board are like, this movie is a steamy pile of trash. And, when I walked out of the theater, I was like, I don't, we'll talk more about it, but I don't think I agree with a lot of the critics on this one, because I was a little nervous going into it. Now, I will say that we went and saw it, Shayna, myself, my oldest daughter, Madison, and then my youngest daughter, it was her first movie. It was Annabelle's first time going to the movie theater, which was super cool. She loved it. She was super into it. Her movie theater etiquette was so on point. She wasn't talking. She wasn't, causing a ruckus or anything like that. So I think some of it for myself was just the overall experience of like, yo, this is cool, taking my kid to the first movie. But I had a really good time with it. But before we even get into any of that, you guys already know Lil Duke Spooky, so we're just going to let him sit there quietly until it's time for him to do his IMDb thing. But we're going to start with Lil Duke Spooky's Logan, since we have two Logans. You're like Thing 1 and Thing 2 from Dr. Seuss. We just got to get you the shirts and be like, Logan 1, Logan 2, Logan 1, Logan 2. But no, we've got you guys to talk about. So Logan, why don't you tell me about, how you got into Five Nights at Freddy's? I know a little bit more about my own son's exposure, but why don't you tell me a little bit about how you got into Five Nights at Freddy's, and really why, you continue to follow along with it and follow this franchise and this property?
So, I got into Five Nights at Freddy's. I had someone named Lawrence. He was one of my best friends at my elementary school, and he just showed me into it.
Nice.
So that's kind of my story. I honestly don't know why he kept going. I just did. I think I got like too into it, and then yeah.
You just got hooked.
But I didn't play. Yeah, I didn't play my first game. I met him in like, I don't know, second grade, and I didn't play like the first Five Nights at Freddy's game until like fourth or fifth grade.
So do you
So,
just watch everybody else play it, like on the bus or
yep.
something like that?
Hmm.
Yeah, sounds about
Or
right.
on YouTube.
Oh yes, those
Yeah, I
are
Dude,
got
they
a YouTube.
would role play it in our hallway. So they would play Five Nights at Freddy's, and he would be like, "Are you in the door? Are you in the vent?" And their friend would be like,
Uh,
"No."
no,
See, that's
I don't know
awesome
what you're
though.
talking about.
And I
I
think
don't know
no,
what
no,
you're
no,
talking
no.
about.
I think that's what a good, me and my brothers were Power Rangers in the living room. We were
Yeah.
fighting, we were doing all these things, and I think that's what a good intellectual property can do for people is it can excite the imagination in a way that you might not traditionally be excited. And with Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'll let Logan talk about it even a little bit more, but I remember when he was first getting into it, it's scary, but it's not nightmare fuel. You know, it's
Yeah.
scary enough to where it can, you can approach it at 8, 9 years old, something like that, and be okay with it. It's not something that's gonna make you crap your pants and have the worst nightmares for weeks on end.
Yeah.
So, Logan, why don't you just fill us in real quick on your introduction to Five Nights at Freddy's and why, after all these years, you continue to hang out at Fazbear's Pizzeria?
So the first time I got into Five Nights at Freddy's, I want to say I was in first or probably second grade. I feel like it was just around the time we moved here.
Yeah.
But it was Madison, I think, who originally showed me it. She
And
showed
that
me
is his older sister.
my
That's my
sister,
oldest
yeah.
daughter. Yeah.
Um it was like second grade. I don't remember exactly what, but she showed me the second game just like on her like little she didn't even have a phone, she had an iPod
iPod
Touch.
Touch.
Yep, and then I had an iPod Touch, so then I got the second game. And I think the second game might have been the first one I played. I don't exactly remember. It was either the second or the first. I think those were the only two that were out at the time.
Okay.
But no, I just played those two games and I really liked it because again, it was like it's like mascot horror. It's like I don't want to say diet horror, but it kind of is in a way. Especially the later entries. The first game really sells it, I think, with like the atmosphere and a ton of that. But and I guess the original like first few games. But
And the gameplay was different. Just the idea
yeah,
of
the
chasing
gameplay and
around
the idea
cameras. Right.
because they're at every like horror game before that, you had normally it was like a free roam kind of environment,
Right.
whereas this is like a sit and survive, and you're just trapped, and you just have to use the
It's
tools given to
puzzles.
you.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Right.
puzzles that, it's almost roguelike in a way where you have to keep playing to figure out how do I keep this from happening, that from happening, and all of these different things. Well, I guess not really roguelike because it doesn't change, but unless you guys get into custom night, then you amp everything up to, 1,000 and you got to be like click, click, click,
Yeah.
click, click, doing all that stuff. All right, this is going to be a long show though, so I want to start by saying thank you both for taking the time to hang out with us here at the Horror Pop
course.
Extravaganza. We tip our hats to you, fine gentlemen. All right,
My
Duke
pleasure.
Spooky, you're up to the plate. You knock this one out of the park. Why don't you? Who made it? Who's in it? And what does IMDb think Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is about?
They're gonna have to tell me because I don't know what Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is about. All right, so this thing is directed by a lady, which kind of surprised
which I
me.
liked it. I actually liked seeing it. I
Really?
want to see more lady voices in a horror because it is, in my experience, usually a unique perspective. It's just a different view, and I like
agree.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Emma Tammy was the director, and it stars from a little franchise called The Hunger Games, Josh Hutcherson.
Which I love me some Josh. He came to somebody's defense in all this Quentin Tarantino stuff recently, but yeah, I like him, man. He seems like just a regular guy that you could, hang out with and be okay.
He kind of does, but then he's been in like big movies with big directors. Like his first movie was Zathura
Right.
with Favreau, like that's insane. And then we got Piper Rubio coming up, and she plays the his
Abby?
friend slash girlfriend slash.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vanessa.
Vanessa? Yeah,
Yeah.
Vanessa.
Elizabeth Leal plays. Oh no, sorry. Elizabeth is the one that's Vanessa. Piper is his little sister.
Abby.
What I also thought was his
Abby.
daughter,
Yeah. No, that's
Nope,
Abby.
That's
just
the
sister.
sister, yeah.
That's
sister.
sister.
Yeah. And then a couple of fellas that we know well from Scream: Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich.
Yes, which for us old fellers, it's cool to see those two back to back, or back
100%.
again, side by side. Yeah, just hanging.
I would have loved to see them in the same scene. So it was unfortunate they missed that opportunity, but like I get it. Mr. Wayne Knight. Coming in, being a prick
People-
like only he can. Someone I've come to love, McKenna Grace.
Yeah.
She's one of these new up and comers that's just she's good in everything. And like people don't realize that she was in those new Ghostbuster movies because she looks so different in those.
Right.
Was she the reporter girl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in Young Sheldon.
Oh, right.
okay.
She's Paige. Yeah, she's Paige.
Yeah, she was. I totally forgot about
That's
that.
how I recognized her. That's the only thing I've watched that she was in. But
And then we saved the best, maybe the best for last. Megan Fox as the voice of Toy Chica.
Which is.
I'm not a big fan.
I'm not either. When they announced the casting, I was like, okay, I kind of get it, but then I thought, you talk about Young Sheldon or something, but bring in almost like I can't remember her name, who plays Bernadette on The Big Bang Theory, but she voiced Harley Quinn at one point and has that high kind of really, or Tara Strong, who did all all the animated stuff. Yeah, with the Toy Chica stuff, yeah. It was what it was, It was what it was.
I really don't get it because in there's a game called Ultimate Custom Night, a Fnaf game, where Toy Chica has a voice already. And Toy Freddy's voice was Kellen Goff, who was the voice of Toy Freddy in the movie, so I don't get why they didn't just use the voice actor for Toy Chica that was already established instead of just doing a celebrity cut.
I'm kind of with you there, and even when because it's not even like Toy Chica had that much dialogue.
No,
right.
Nobody did.
No, it wasn't that it was so important that we needed to have that. But yes, Megan Fox's Toy Chica, it's there.
All right, you ready to hear what IMDb says this movie's about?
Yes.
I needed help, so I went to IMDb, and you know what? It didn't help much. But here's what they say. Anyone can survive 5 nights. This time, there are no second chances. But that's it. That's the description for the movie.
That's it.
Because they didn't figure it out either, is what I assume.
So let's. I want to say really quickly before we jump in, and then we'll get right into everything, and we can just talk through the whole movie and how it compares and stuff like that. Growing up, or watching him grow up, and that 2-hour car ride, and talking to me about Five Nights at Freddy's and all the lore and all this stuff, and the lore started to move pretty quickly. And I don't know Scott. Is it Cawthorn?
Yeah, Scott Cawthon.
Scott Cawthon. I don't know his background. If it was just in developing, kind of programming that. I don't know if he was educated as a storyteller. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's his passion. Because over the course of Logan explaining this to me over all these years, I've come to learn that Five Nights at Freddy's is a convoluted mess of a plot. And walking out of the theater, I was like, they nailed it. That's what the game is, and they nailed it on the screen. But to your point, Duke Spooky, I have a very elementary knowledge of this lore and these games and all this stuff. For someone who was to go into this blind, who had never heard someone talk about Five Nights at Freddy's, who had never played one of the games, I can see it being extraordinarily confusing.
Right.
With what's going on, and the first movie, I don't think did that any favors. The first movie was kind of the same thing where it was very convoluted. It was very messy. There were a lot of open-ended stuff all over the place here and there. And then you have all the little Easter eggs that only people like these two know. It's like, oh, there's his Dream Theory book. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that. And all of the different elements that go into it. But I will say that I think they were successful in transferring what that game was to the screen. Because it is a bunch of dead kids and robots with, other people coming in. There were these brothers, then there was a child, then there was this, and then there was more than one location, and now we've got all this stuff going on. So I'm here for it. And you both, why don't we start with you, Logan, Joseph? What did you think of the first movie?
I thought the first movie was all right. I think it was pretty faithful in its recreation of the first location, and the animatronics are obviously like the best part.
Yeah,
because they just look really, really good. I did like it a lot more than the second one, though.
Oh, really? Okay, okay. Save that for the end. But all right, and then Logan, what did you think of the first Five Nights at Freddy's?
Honestly, I wasn't too into movies when I watched it, but now I am a lot into movies, so if I rewatched it, it'd probably be more memorable and stuff. But yeah, I would say the second one was probably better. If I rewatched the first one, I might change my mind.
Yeah,
But
that's
about the
fair.
first one, yeah,
That's
the
fair.
first one I definitely liked that the animatronics were like friends with the people. I thought that was really cool.
It would
Also,
in my mind and in my heart, it's hard for me because I firmly believe that Five Nights at Freddy's would benefit from an R rating. I think it,
100%.
you know what I mean? It is a R-rated concept, but the entire audience is not R-rated.
No.
So the studio would be shooting themselves directly in the foot. You're shooting off,
Right.
60% of the people who are going to be your ticket sales if you go the R rating. But I do feel that this one pushed it further with the intensity of the scares and stuff like that, which was fun. But at the same time, everything, kind of being off camera and a lot of things coming back around like, hey, everybody's okay. Where the lore of this is really more like a Nightmare on Elm Street lore. Like, hey, a bunch of kids got taken and a bunch of kids are dead and they're ghosts. And yeah, so it's kind of scary like that. But let's do it, gentlemen. Let's jump into Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. And it just kicks you right in the face with a cold open. We're back in the year of my birth, a great year, 1982, hanging out at the
Really?
original location of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria. Now, to either of you, is this the premise of was the first game in a second location and then we come back to the first location eventually, like in the movie?
so
So the second game is a prequel to the first game, yes, but there was a location before the
yeah,
FNAF 2 location.
it was Fredbear's Family Diner, correct?
Yeah, but there was
Yeah.
also a location in between those two that was like the original Freddy's, but with the withered guys,
Oh
and then they
yes,
got
yeah.
scrapped for. They made the FNAF 2 location, scrapped them for spare parts, and then
Parts,
refurbished them
and
after the second one failed.
like they took parts and
As
then
like,
turned
yeah,
those into the toy
Oh, okay.
animatronics, and
So it
that's why
does.
they're faulty and want to kill people.
So this is it is a little bit faithful to that. Okay, good.
hmm
So we're at 1982, though. We don't know who this little girl is at first. Maybe you guys knew it was her from the beginning.
Yep,
But
I knew it exactly.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured because of the striped. She has like
Yeah,
stripes
the
on,
striped
and that's
sleeves.
Right. So, which I was excited about. And the one thing I will say these movies do well is the set design is just top. I
Yeah,
mean, primo.
it's
Just
phenomenal.
primo. You feel like you could go. I'm surprised they haven't opened one yet somewhere. Just like a Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria where you actually go in, take pictures, buy overpriced merchandising, and have pizza and watch them dance around on stage. But the set pieces are awesome. And we get some voiceover letting us know that they were brothers? Who, the two creators or friends?
They're just friends.
Okay, so these
Oh yeah,
two.
they're friends.
So these two guys, though, had developed a technology that still has yet to be replicated and isn't even really fully understood.
Yeah,
So that's what lets us know, hey, you just kind of got to believe this technology. Suspend your
Yeah.
disbelief. These animatronics can do what they're going to do. Really scary. This image of this giant golden bunny pulling a little child into a back room.
Yeah.
That's nightmare,
Yeah.
Kinda
dude.
scary.
And we have this little girl who sees it. But what's even scarier, and I think for me, probably not for you two, but for me, the scariest part of this was that little girl trying to get all the help and nobody would help her.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
so 80s.
Yeah.
That's so 80s
Yeah,
parents.
she was like, hey, adults are talking, kid. Get out of here.
Yeah, I got really angry about that.
Right.
That
and
Yeah, that
she
was
was
really
something in
stupid.
me. Yeah.
screaming, like, somebody please help me. And she goes into the back room to find this kid. And this is where we first see
William Afton.
Yeah. We see
Yeah, he was singing. I really liked how he was singing like the bum 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 bum.
He was
Yeah, he was
whistling.
whistling it.
But
Yeah.
washing his hands. I really like that.
Yeah, it was a good look, and they're very good about this. And I know that Scott, from everything I understood, is very attached to the production of all this stuff. Like, he
Yeah,
wants to
yeah.
make sure that it.
He's the main writer.
Right. That
which
it
is, I
Yeah.
guess, why it feels the way it does.
Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, because again, to my point, and nothing against the guy, but he might not be the best writer. There
No, he's
are
definitely
people,
not.
yeah, there are people
Yeah.
who could probably like. There are probably writers out there who are
Very
like, just
contrived.
give me a shot at Five Nights
Yeah.
at Freddy's. I'll
Yeah.
give you
Yeah.
a really cool thing. But it's his baby, He's I can't like he was young when he made the game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. He was like 20. I want to
I'm
say
in
he was
his
20 something when he
20s.
made the
Yeah,
first game
yeah.
because he did a lot of programming and he worked at like some Christian some like weird Christian like movie studio.
Maybe
And they
Jason worked at the same one. He worked at a Christian TV studio for a
I
while.
maybe
did.
they made these like animated like 3D Christian movies that they would just put out on like DVD or something.
Okay.
But he did that for a while before he ever picked up
Put the
game
game
design.
together. But yeah,
Mhm.
you can tell that this is somebody who I'm sure went in and said, I need a certain amount of creative control and
Right.
a final cut, or final edit, whatever that is. But we see a little boy, getting mangled and well, he's on the ground. We don't see him actually hurt or anything.
Yeah, he was alive. He got back up as
Yeah,
soon as
he
she
got-
got out of the back
Mhm.
room. Yeah, he was
Right.
fine.
But then we get this really gnarly vertigo drop shot of her trying to walk away and just these eyes, light up
Yeah,
behind
that
her.
was-
And it's like, oh, dude, that's terrifying.
Yeah, and it
she's-
was like,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
oh, yeah. Even my dad was talking about this. He said like how slow the animatronics were when they were like chasing.
Yeah.
But I feel like Afton was like the slowest, but he did start to speed up. But I just felt like,
Yeah, and it was
Sorry.
almost dreamlike. She was in this kind of hazy
Mhm.
tunnel, dreamlike sequence, and then she just comes out onto the stage, which she had been just sitting there. I guess that's where she hangs out and waits for the
Yeah.
marionette to come out.
the puppet. Yeah.
Right, which I love like that's always been one of my favorite characters in Five Nights at
Really?
Freddy's. I think it's just the design. It's
Yeah, the design of it is
simplistic
really cool.
but scary at the same time. I loved all of the character designs in this, from the toy characters to the withered characters to the kind of mangled looking characters, and then of course that after credit scene, which I don't know about you guys, but the theater that I was in, people went crazy, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Really?
Crazy. They started cheering. And there was one other person in the theater though, totally sidetracking here, but I'm so excited for Super Mario Galaxy to come out. Rosalina has long been, you can ask my son, Rosalina has long been my
Yeah.
favorite princess. And when we're in the theater, the trailer comes out and Rosalina comes out and I get all excited and I'm bumping my wife and I'm doing this, kind of slow. And this other guy down in front of me is like, yeah, Rosalina. And I'm like, yeah, he gets it. I was like, he knows. But back to the movie. So she walks out backstage and ends up on the trap door where the puppet
Yeah, the
comes
trap
out
door, yep.
holding this little
The
kid
kid.
that she saved and just screams. And this little girl sold it.
Yeah,
she
she did.
sold it
She was
really
good.
well. And then I think the little boy was able to get down and
Yeah,
goes
he
off
just
to his
runs
parents.
off.
Yeah, goes to
Yep.
his parents, and then the trap door opens and dun, 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 dun,
And,
dun,
like-
dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
Because Charlotte, her name's Charlotte, she falls over, and you see like her back line with 3 stab marks, and then the trap door opens,
Right.
and she just like slowly slides down into it, and then the marionette comes up, and she's in the marionette's arms.
Again, with the set designs, all the inner workings of the basement levels where you saw all the
Yeah.
mechanical pieces that were required to make everything happen. Just so cool.
Yeah.
So Charlotte, then, she's from the games and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's possessing the puppet in the game. She doesn't die in that way at all. It's very
Okay.
different.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's very
Yeah.
different. And
How did she
also,
die in the How did she die in the game?
In the
So-
games,
Yeah.
she
Yeah,
was
they-
at I think it was Fredbear's. I
Yeah,
want to say it was
Fredbear's.
Fredbear's, where there was
and the puppet was locked in the
a more
box.
more prototype
Yeah.
version of the puppet called like the security puppet that would basically just kind of keep her safe. And some like bullies or something locked her outside in the rain, and then they put like boxes on top of the puppet so
Yeah,
it couldn't
they
get out
did.
and go open the door for her. And then William came by, and it was his first murder. I think the reason
Yeah, it was his first murder.
after his son had died, his youngest son.
Yeah.
he like got in a fit of rage and he went to the location and saw that Charlotte was locked out, and then he killed her, and then he left her at like the backside of the pizzeria, and then the puppet like comes out of the box and goes outside, and it's like really heavily raining, and so it goes outside and it's like slowly deteriorating, and then it like falls on top of her, and that's how
Oh,
he
okay.
possesses the puppet.
And in the movie, I did notice the puppet had the purple tears beforehand, but in the game, didn't the puppet get the purple tears after it
Yeah,
connected with Charlotte? Yeah.
yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about, dude. We got the experts here. We have the experts here in the Horror Pop Manor today. So this sequence sets up, the marionette or the puppet as essentially the big bad. This is our
Yeah, the big
villain.
bad.
Yep, this is our big bad throughout the course of this movie. But until we get to the big bad, we kind of time jump to, or not time jump, but location jump to not Josh, that's his real name. Josh Hutchinson. What? I can't remember his name.
Mike.
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 Yes, we jump to Mike and Abby. Mike seems like he's been working well at trying to put this stuff behind him. Seems like he's finally over the loss of his brother. He understands everything he went through with the grief and that stuff. Abby, I love that, she's like, or somebody's like, don't talk about it at the school. The kids might pick on you and stuff. And then you cut to the bus and she's like, then Chica came running out and was doing this and was doing
Yeah.
that. The kids are just all over like, yo, you want to sit by me at lunch? This is the greatest thing ever.
Only
Yeah.
one kid said that, though. Like, the other kids were like, ew, that's
Yeah.
weird.
A couple of
And
them
then,
were like, you're weird.
They
Yeah,
thought
you
it
are
was
right.
just crazy.
Yeah, but the town is celebrating Faz Fest, is what
Faz
they call it.
Fest.
Yeah, which I'm also surprised there has not been a convention yet, because I'm sure somebody out there can make a lot of money just doing a 5
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's convention. So Faz Fest is going to be going on in town. She's going to school. She misses her friends, and by friends she means all the ghost children.
The animatronics, the
Mhm.
ghost children, yeah.
The animatronics and the ghost children. She does make one friend, and I love this little kid. I don't know who he is, but his performance was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I believe in aliens and ghosts, so maybe
Oh, yeah,
animatronics.
He literally said that.
Yeah, he's like, I believe in that stuff. So they sit by each other in science class, and then Wayne Knight gives a great performance as a really mean high school science teacher or robotics. They're gonna
What was his name? Mr. Berg?
yeah, something. I think so. Yeah.
Something like that.
And they are trying to maintain the state title for robotics for the 3rd year running. He looks at her little project and is like, well, how about we just cross your name off the list? You don't get,
You
you
know,
don't get
that,
I know.
yeah,
I felt
that enraged
terrible.
me.
I felt
Yeah, I
terrible
felt
for
terrible
her
too.
because she's in there really
Especially what he
trying.
does later.
Oh, yeah.
Especially what he does later. Oh.
And
Oh yeah.
she has been, Mike's going to go out on a date. He doesn't want to call it a date, but Mike's going to go out on a date with Vanessa, who, for those of you who might not remember, was the police officer, security guard from
From the first one.
Mhm.
Right. And now is either one of you can chime in right here. Now, is she as connected to the lore as it was in the movie by the time we get to the end?
Absolute, or what do you mean, like in the games?
Like, is she the daughter of Afton?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So that's not,
Here-
that's all new. Okay.
Yeah. He is the security guard, the evil security guard in Security Breach.
Yeah.
And there's this guy named Glitch Trap, takes over her mind, makes her become veiny, and she just kills people. She just kills kids in the pizzeria.
She basically takes over the role of Afton after he died. She's more prominent in the later games, which I'm not as familiar with because I just don't like them as much. But
Really?
like, what's it called? Yeah, there's like
Help
an
Wanted?
AI like digital. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
Help Wanted, but yeah, she plays the VR game because in the actual
And
VR
then
game,
like,
it's a beta. Like in the lore of the games, the VR game is an in-lore game, like an in-universe game, but it's a beta of the game meant to like clear their image. And so she
Okay.
plays this beta with these like corrupted files with like Afton's. I don't think it's his conscious or some like replication of him, and it gets into her head, and then she kind of takes
Goes
over as like
insane,
the next Afton, but she's not related at all to
Okay. Now, what
No,
about
not at all.
her brother? Is he a real character?
Oh, Michael? Yeah,
Yes.
but
Okay.
He's the
Michael
good
in
guy.
in the
Yeah.
games,
He's the good
Michael
guy.
almost fills the role of Mike Schmidt. Like
Yeah.
Oh,
Michael
okay.
Michael is he kind of directly accidentally kills his little brother, and so he feels like really regretful for that, which obviously he
Which he
should.
should.
But
Right.
but he's the protagonist, the person you're playing as in like the first
Yeah.
few games. I want to say the first like 6 games are all you're playing as him.
Not the
Um,
second one.
Oh, okay.
The
I
second one
think
is someone else.
yeah, but don't you play as him on like you play as him on like the 6th night, I think, because he has to come in to tamper
You?
with the animatronics.
Oh, I thought that was the first one.
Remember when we
He does
said
it in both,
convoluted
yeah.
lore, people? Convoluted lore.
Very convoluted.
Very.
Okay, so thank you
Yeah.
for clearing that up for me. But Vanessa and Mike have had, a relationship since the first movie as she was there kind of guiding things through and helping them out. She
Mhm.
is still stuck.
Haunted
Yeah, she hasn't
by
told
everything. Yeah.
anyone. Yeah, she hasn't told anyone that Afton was her father. And so she
Except
is
Michael.
wrestling with, right. She's wrestling with a lot of that. And he's trying to get her, even though I felt like, man, that's probably what I feel like with people. I was like, he's being a little aggressive, telling her how to get better. And I was like, that's probably how
Yeah.
people feel about me. I'd be aggressive, like, hey, just do this, breathe right, and be better. But they go out. He's wanting to get over stuff, but she's really not ready for it yet. Mike comes home, is looking for Abby, and this, as a parent, again, is a terrifying situation because he doesn't see the note on the back of the door. He just comes in and shuts the door,
Yeah.
and he's running around screaming, Abby, where are you? Abby.
Because she's gone.
Right. And he goes to
Yeah.
find the, or she leaves a
Note.
note, I went to go see my friends.
Yeah.
And he finds her, though, not at the new location, at the location from the first movie,
Yeah.
correct? Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where he
'Cause-
comes in. She's
Yeah.
there and everybody's gone because he had been telling her, hey, I'm going to fix your friends one day. Don't worry about it. I'm going to fix your friends.
But they were
And-
gone. He
right.
couldn't find them.
Right. And she's there kind of crying, like, where's everybody at? He's like, hey, how about if I gave you 1,000,000 tickets? Come on over here. I'll give you 1,000,000 tickets. You can pick out anything you want. How about this Freddy thing? And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I was like, I kind of want all those things that are back there, like the
I
talking
did too,
ones and
yeah.
stuff.
Oh
did
wait, the
see-
reference.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
The reference when he pressed down the Freddy doll went.
Right. Yeah, which was good. I was like, I want a Freddy that does
I
that.
started cracking up. That was
Yeah,
the
that's
most beautiful thing
it was
ever.
it was a TikTok audio back in like 2022, 2021, I want to say.
I
It
don't
got really
know.
popular on TikTok, that audio, and they just put it in the movie for whatever reason.
Which is fun. I mean,
Oh,
didn't they
yeah,
put
it's
that
fun.
song that those YouTubers made in the first movie?
Yeah, but that song is like
Oh,
500 million
yeah.
views on YouTube.
Right. But it was
Yeah.
still like, he's cool about, I guess, acknowledging the fan base and saying,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
without
Oh, yeah, very
you,
good.
without you, this is, so I'm going to throw this in here just for those.
Yeah,
of you that
actually,
don't
it
know.
was actually kind of crazy. In the beginning scene, you can barely see it. There's like, you know how there's those kids playing the arcade machine?
Yeah.
Oh,
On
I
the
didn't notice
side-
that one.
Yeah, on the side of the arcade
Oh,
machine,
yes, I did see that.
it was
Yeah.
what's it called? Pop Goes. And that's like a popular fan
Yeah, I saw
creation.
that. And then
Oh,
there's
Like
also
really?
fans,
candies.
fan made series. Yeah, I think Candies was there too. Like these fan made
Yeah.
series that got put in this. Scott started in like 2020, did an initiative where he like funded like fan developers to make like
Yeah.
That's cool.
to make
Games.
new games, and then they're gonna get like merch and like console and mobile ports just to, like help out the fan base. And Pop Goes and Candies are in those, and those are like very popular
Like
kind of
fan-
old ones.
fan product.
Yeah, and I played the
Yeah.
original Pop Goes in like 6th grade, I want
Really?
to say 7th grade. So like I remember I remember that game. I played through that whole original game, so it was just really cool to see.
Which is
I actually don't know anything about Pop Goes, like,
Yeah.
at all. Also, it does show where the animatronics went in the Freddy's location at the end of the movie, or that's what I think is like heavily implied that because the guys who come in to like scrap everything find the secret room, so I imagine the animatronics were in that secret room with the rotting corpse of Afton, like making sure nobody like revived him or anything like that.
Yeah, because at the end, I mean, well, we'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah,
get
we'll
to
talk about
yeah,
that
yeah,
later.
We'll get to the end at the end. So where were we? Oh yeah, they go there, and she says, "I want this
Fast talker," which I Mhm.
did see one of. I think it was AMC was doing popcorn buckets that were the Faz talker, and I'm like, that's pretty rad.
Really?
Yeah,
That
they look
is.
cool. But she's got the Faz talker, and it's almost like an old speak and say, where you type some stuff in and it talks back to you, or you press a button and it says, "Hey, I'm Chica," or "Hey, I'm Freddy." And so she takes this thing
Yeah.
home. She's been drawing pictures everywhere. The science stuff's not going all that great. And she's sleeping one night, and then all of a sudden we just
And then it
think,
goes off.
yeah,
Yup. And then it's
A,
just like,
B,
Abby,
E,
help us.
Y.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Abby, help us. We're here. Come to this area. And then she follows the area. She goes there on her bike.
she goes to the original
The
location. This is the
yeah.
original. And they
Fnaf
even
2.
say something about it. Somebody says something because they look in her drawing. She was drawing more, and they say, well, no, the original was the only one with the boats where you could go ride
Yeah,
around the
and
little
then
river.
that's
And
when Michael first goes to like figures out, oh no, there's another location.
oh, okay, gotcha. And
Yeah, when he's talking to Henry.
which I don't know. I was kind of confused at the, they're having Faz Fest, and it does. If she can ride her bike there, it's close enough to where I feel like people would be all over that place.
Right.
It wouldn't just be so desolate if she can get there by bike. But she goes and starts developing her relationship now with Toy Chica.
Yeah.
And Toy Chica comes out. I thought the cupcake looked amazing. We get Toy Chica immediately talking to her like, hey, or no, we don't even see it at first. She just comes home with the new science project and is like, oh, my friend helped me make it.
Yeah.
Toy Chica, helped me make this thing. And then Ghost Scoopers, which is a
a horror channel.
yeah,
They like find ghosts. They are not a part of the game.
No, I can't imagine. Yeah, I can't imagine they were. I think they were just used as a necessary plot device.
They're just a plot device, yeah.
Yeah, and for some great kill sequences, because, like I said, they kind of upped to the terror in this one a little bit, and I really liked. And she got a call. She got a call. No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just trying to say, like, the kills in this movie were pretty gruesome. When I first saw, like, the first puppet kill, I thought the puppet was pulling off, like, an Ennard stunt. The other Logan, you know exactly what I'm talking
like
about.
going inside the skin. In the games, there's a character named Ennard who he's in the fifth game, kind of an amalgamation of a ton of other. So the fifth game takes place in an underground bunker, and there's these four main animatronics. It's Circus Baby, Funtime Foxy, Funtime Freddy, and Ballora. And by the end, all of them, there's this big room called the Scooper with this big metal scooper that'll like scoop out all the insides of the animatronics for like repairs, do whatever. And so they all scoop each other and then form into one amalgamation of wires called Ennard. And then they all want to leave. That's all their main goal is just to escape the facility. So they scoop out Michael Afton's guts. They scoop out all his insides and then climb inside his body.
And wear him out like a people
suit. They wear him out, but then I don't know if they just don't know how a human body works, but it starts decomposing.
And then they make Michael throw them up into the sewer, and then they give him remnant, and then he just gets up with 0 bones, nothing inside his body, just his skin, and he walks away.
Yeah, it's really weird. He possesses his own skin, I think. I think he possesses his own body because there's like this material called remnant. It gets very sci-fi after the fifth one.
Right.
But remnant is like soul essence, I guess.
Soul,
and so they just cough up a bit of them. They just cough off some of it for him, and then he just is able to like possess his own body and keep living. Which is very weird. It's very strange, but it's just something you got to accept.
Right.
Nobody seems to care about the rotting corpse in their town. Nobody even cares.
I'm telling you.
He gets a job, doesn't he?
Yeah, he works in the sixth one. He gets a job working
at that. We need to be writing this spin-off series that's just like an office comedy about this dude wearing a skin suit.
Yes.
He's like the male guy at the local law firm. Okay. Let's get back to the movie. So she's got this thing who draws her back. Abby, or not Abby, but Vanessa decides to take Mike's advice and try the dream thing. We get some really not visceral, but surreal kind of nightmare sequence where she's having to
Yeah.
confront what we learn is her father, at least in this iteration, not in all the other stuff, but it's her dad. And she can't get over the fact that, you know, her dad had done all this stuff. Maybe she is corrupted because of having, you know, sharing DNA with this person. But he is always telling her, like, you are mine, you are mine. She's running around
Yeah.
the house. She'll see him in the mask and then not in the mask. And he comes bursting out, really well shot. Meanwhile, these people are all dying over it. And this guy is so creepy. Like, he played that creepy security guard so well, and he's like, yeah, he's almost like,
Oh,
Blippi,
yeah.
like, come on in, let's have a good time.
He's supposed to be like William Afton, which I thought the main character Michael was actually supposed to be Michael Afton.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
And
because
that
in the
confused me. Yeah.
in the first game, when you get your paycheck at the end of the fifth night, the name is Mike Schmidt on the paycheck.
Mike Schmidt.
I'm
That's his
assuming Mike.
mother's last name.
I think so. I don't know if it is or not. I think he just used a different surname purely because William Afton was literally a murderer, and
Yeah.
saying you're related to a murderer on your
Right,
when you're trying to get a job is
Resume
probably
is
not a great thing.
good.
So
Yeah.
right. Like,
I
if
think
my
you just
last
either
name
use
was
his mother's
Diddy, I would probably
surname
change
or
it.
what. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So he's all excited though. He's like, okay, I'm gonna show you guys all around this, that, and they're in there just, this is gonna be our best video yet. They've all got their gear out. The
Yeah.
one guy's got whatever little tick 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 that catches, you know, EMP
Mhm.
energy
Yeah.
and whatnot. And I can't remember the name of the woman who played the younger woman here, the blonde, but
Yeah.
she's really
She
good
got
too.
possessed. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
She
McKenna
got possessed
Grace.
by the puppet.
Yeah,
Ah,
McKenna
yes.
Grace.
Yeah, that's who it is. And she just slays anytime she's on screen. She just chews up scenery in the best way possible. They're all gonna keep investigating a little bit while she hears music. That's what it is, through her
Yeah.
headphones.
Through
Here's
her
the music
headphones.
box. Yeah.
She's holding up.
She
She's
goes
like, "You guys hear that?"
downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she
She
goes
goes
down there. And we got
downstairs.
this big present.
The box, the puppet box, and
Yes.
it opens when she's looking at the floor or something.
She
She
turns
turns
off the
off the
music.
music
She
box.
turns off the music box.
And, which is like in the FNAF 2 game, you have to keep that running
you
to keep
wind
the
it.
puppet from coming out and killing you.
Right.
So you have to wind the box. But she turns it off. The puppet just like comes out and jump scares her. We see her later, and she's like all possessed, and she's got like the puppet limbs sprouting out.
I thought the possession looking puppet looked awesome. Like,
That was
I
my
That's
thought
the thing.
favorite thing in the
I-
movie
yeah.
was that.
I honestly
Yeah.
I really didn't like it.
What?
And it was
Yeah,
really
that's the thing.
creepy, but
It's not that it was really creepy. I thought it looked kind of, I don't know, a little bit cheesy maybe. And
a
it's
little bit
also
cheesy.
just, it was kind of weird. And so I felt disconnected from the original game because nothing like that ever happens in the actual
Yeah,
FNAF. No one
nothing
possesses
like
a
that.
human.
Well, and they
And-
don't really go out wandering around, right? In the games, like way out into the
No,
trees
no,
and
they
stuff
never
like
do
that.
that.
No, they
That was
never even
another
go out
thing
of the
where I was
restaurant.
kind of confused. Yeah.
And they plotted it away by saying that there's some kind of perimeter lock that
Yeah,
Charlotte
there's
could
perimeter
not
lock.
unlock. Yeah, she could not
Because it would
unlock it.
like drain their power. It
Right.
would like drain all their power, so they would just die and fall over.
Because it was a security feature
Turned
to
off.
keep them from
Yeah.
getting too far away. That's right. Because
They
they
can
did
walk on their
explain
own.
the system in the inside Freddy's is some kind of hyper new mesh Wi-Fi that gives them the power and allows them to
Mhm.
navigate and interact with
Yeah.
customers and people on the regular. Okay. So she like you said gets killed by the puppet. I really liked the guy in the little tunnel, the water tunnel, getting taken over
Yeah,
by
he
all the
fell
little.
in,
Yeah, and then
and
he
then there
looks
was the
up
little
and they're all
marionettes.
gone. Yeah, and they're all
and then he looks
disappeared
down
off
in the
wall.
water, and they're just like all looking up at him
Oh.
from the water. And he
So
starts
good.
screaming, and he gets dragged down, and then
So
blood
good.
starts spewing from the water.
And that's right. I feel like we saw more actual red in this movie
Yeah,
than
yeah.
in the last
Yeah.
one. Yeah, they let you know
I
like, hey,
agree.
these people are dead. They're not just
Yeah,
uh,
that's one of the things that I felt that the second movie had going over the first, because I feel like the only real kill in that movie that was like you really got to see any of it was when Freddy chomps the girl in half. That was like the only.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. And also like William Afton, like the cupcake biting his stomach.
Oh
and
yeah,
then,
and
like,
when he
the spring
stabs
lock
his
going
daughter
off.
too, but
Oh
That's
yeah,
about it.
Vanessa.
Yeah, you're right though. It just wasn't the same as this because even I was like, "Yo, okay, you're stepping it up a little bit." Like, why
Yeah.
would they
Yeah.
not have some of these, be intense and be graphic and not end on a high note and stuff like that? Even though it is very interlaced with comedy, the same cab driver shows
Yeah.
Yeah.
from the first movie.
Yeah, he's a
Cab driver,
YouTuber.
Yeah, I got to get a different job, man. This ain't
Yeah.
right.
Corey
I
And
hasn't
bet he's
watched
gonna
him
be
for
in
a
the
long
third
time.
one.
I'm sure.
I bet he's gonna
Probably.
be in the
Yeah,
third one.
probably.
I hope he doesn't die because the only real animatronic in that game, or in the movie, is probably gonna be Springtrap. We also saw Puppet was
Yeah.
still there because she possessed Vanessa at the end.
Right.
But
Yeah,
those two are
I
like
thought we
dangerous
saw
killers.
all the now where did the well, we'll get there. We're getting close to there anyway. Okay, so Vanessa is coming to terms with a lot of stuff. She realizes that everything's crazy, but she also knows but doesn't let anybody on that she was there in 1982. She was there when what's the puppets, the girl who
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
She
Also
was
the
Charlotte's one of only friends. Like her and Charlotte actually,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cared about each other a little bit. So she ends up going back to the pizzeria and is like, Charlotte, like you got to stop this stuff. And she's like, no, I don't. I'm gonna coil you up. I'm gonna call.
And then she captures her. Yeah.
Yeah, and she captures her,
Also-
and then she calls Abby over there and is like, "Hey, I can."
Yeah,
come.
yeah.
Or no, but it was after he breaks her science project. Man, that science teacher was.
Yeah.
That
He's
was-
like, oh, let me get this to the table, and then he drops
Right.
it on the floor.
That was
Also
my
in Vanessa's
favorite.
Nightmare.
My
yeah.
favorite part of the movie was after he does that. That little kid in the back's like, "You're a dick, Mr. Bird."
Right,
That was
yeah.
like the, that was like the best
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
That was my favorite part.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
said that? Who said that?
Yeah. Also in the nightmare sequence with Vanessa, when she goes into like William's Athens, like I don't know, the room with all the animatronics in the
like
upstairs,
laboratory
she hides
secret.
she hides in the closet, and then she looks over and there's Circus Baby there.
Oh yeah,
from Five
Baby's
Nights at Freddy's
there.
5, yeah.
Who?
Which was
Baby's
cool.
from that 5th game. She's
Yeah,
that's
and then
when
she's
things
like-
got real sci-fi. Before that, it was
Yeah.
more supernatural. But after that 5th game, I don't know. Scott said I've watched an interview with him. He said he always tends to lean into sci-fi, whether he likes it or not.
Yes, yeah,
But,
yeah.
But yeah, that game, because it takes place around the time that the 2nd game does. At least the murders of the
Yeah.
2nd game. At least the time he built the 5th one.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Hmm.
So after all the nightmare stuff, but she's held up, and then Abby goes running back to that location and is like, "Oh, Chica, my thing got broke,
Yeah.
He's like, well, I can help you. All you got to do is let us go. And meanwhile, she's choking out Vanessa in the back. She's got all these tendrils
Yeah, the
and whatever
puppet.
around her. Yeah, and she's like, you better. And she's like, you won't kill a kid. And she's like, you want to bet? Like, try me. We'll see what happens. Because Charlotte's anger is against all of the parents. She blames them solely. And not just the parents that were
Yeah.
there, but all parents in general for being failures.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and that they need to be punished for what happens. So she gets Abby to put in the code. They call a cab and take the cab to the science fair.
Yeah.
And Chica shows up as her science
project.
And even he's like, you can't just have your dumb friend dress up in a costume and come, gallivant around. You got to get out of here. And she's like, I'm gonna go talk to Mr. Bird.
Yeah, and then so he's going to his classroom, he's calling someone, he hangs up, goes to his classroom to grab the keys for something, and he's heading out, and then people in costumes come out and go like, "Wow!" and scare him, but they run off. And then he is walking to wherever he's going, and then you see Chica's eyes light up inside the closet, and he passes by and he's like, hang on a second, and then he backs up, looks, and then just Chica smashes the glass, grabs his head, and pulls him in, and he just
starts
falls.
squeezing. I want to
Yeah,
see
Yeah, he
what's
falls
inside
under the
your head.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, I want to see what's inside his head, but he crawls under the table. She pulls him out, and then just crushes his head.
Oh,
Which
look,
that-
it was nothing.
I think
Yeah,
once Chica
exactly.
went to
That
the
was so
science
funny.
fair, that's when it started to lose me. That's where I was like, what are we doing here? What is
Yeah,
Right.
because
where's the lore?
I don't know. I think a lot of the reason I enjoyed those original games was kind of the dingy environment and almost the smaller scale of
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
Whereas I feel like they upped the scale so much on this one, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me because how are you going to have
It was
giant
just like
ass
less
animatronic
scary,
moving
yeah.
around everywhere.
Yeah.
Well,
And
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 they
like
sent them
can't escape them.
into because Chica was at the fair, but everybody else
yeah,
started going around town.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which, like, if you see a giant metal robot walk in the streets,
Now, this was also one of my personal favorite parts of the whole movie when Mike had to sit there and actually play the game and have the
yeah,
mask and everything when he
and
was
that
like,
had
Yes,
he's
yes,
like, there's
yes,
that
no
was
yes,
way
yes.
that'll
cool
work.
because
Yeah,
that
it
had
was great.
a lot of
Yeah.
references to the second
The
game.
games, yeah.
Not even just from the standpoint of like he's just playing it, but like there was I remember this one point, Withered Freddy. They're called Withered in the games,
Yeah.
but Withered Freddy like leans over and is like almost about to grab him,
Oh
and
yeah, like his stance where he's like leaning over, like hand in your face.
that's exactly like a freeze frame from FNAF 2 when he enters
Oh,
the
that's
office.
Yes.
That's right what he does. And same thing with the Withered Bonnie in the vent. He does that exact thing in the game.
Yeah.
So
oh
I
with the
thought that was
nose
pretty
Wither
cool.
ring.
Bonnie's my favorite.
Hmm.
Yeah, Wither Bonnie's my absolute favorite. I like all the Bonnies a lot. But Wither Bonnie's got to be like my favorite.
I like all the
Uh,
withered ones and the different looks and the fact that we are getting,
yeah.
I don't know how far they can take it. Like I hope we don't have movies with like Glam Rock Foxy and Glam Rock Freddy and stuff like that, but that we are
Yeah.
getting to see some of these different iterations from the games. It's not just
Yeah.
the same
Yeah, yeah.
exact animatronics that we had last time. And my favorite all of them, and I don't know which one it is, but it's the Foxy that was just like all metal with some
That's
kind
Mangle, yeah.
Mangle, yeah, with some kind
Mangle,
of
yes.
other
We're
little
yeah.
eyeball or something on his hand, or
That
yeah,
was like the other Endo head, and the lore for Mangle in the movie was like it was a take apart, put back together thing, and then
Which is
they
exactly
just
what it is in the games, no? I'm pretty sure that is.
yes, that is. But I thought in the games that it wasn't that, and then the kids just took it apart, and then the guards got tired of fixing Mangle and just said, "Fine, it's a
Hmm.
take apart, put back together thing."
I feel
But in
like
the
Phone
movie,
Guy, yeah, said something
yeah.
about the kids taking her apart, but I'm not sure.
yeah,
And
yeah,
these,
kids say that.
so Bonnie attacks a family. Bonnie shows up in a little girl's bedroom and is like,
Hmm.
"I'm gonna go talk to your mom so we can play together forever." And you're
And
like,
like
"Oh,
stay up later, yeah.
right." And
And
then
then
somebody else was Freddy.
Toy
Freddy was
Freddy.
walking around at
so
the
Freddy was in
carnival
He
for a
goes,
there, yeah.
while.
yeah, he
You
walks
remember?
around the carnival and then he goes to the other house of whoever and like just some family and is just like
Right.
in
Yeah,
their
in
house trying to kill him.
yeah, in the fair, do you remember when he's like everybody's like, "Whoa, that's a really cool costume, man."
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Yeah, you want to like hang out after this?" And he's like, "Yes, but first I have to go rip some heads off of very bad people."
Right, right, which was fun, and I like that they. I don't know they had to have been. I mean, just I don't know if it's a costume or the thing looks just like a real animatronic. If people are acting that
Yeah.
thing out, good for
Yeah,
them
it's
for walking
full.
around
Yeah,
with
it's
a robot.
Yeah, so there's people in like the body, I think, and
Yeah,
then
and
the
then
head's like
everything else
hollow.
would
Yeah,
be
in
well,
the
it'd probably
head,
be
and
hollow, and then you'd have somebody with a controller on the outside
hmm
doing the eyes and the mouth,
I
and
just know it's all practical effects. None of
yeah,
it is CG,
right, which is
which is
great,
really cool.
which I'm
that
very
is
happy
really
about.
cool. Yeah,
And so Mike is trying to shut down. He's trying to get into the tracking system, and he starts seeing where each of the animatronics is going.
and then he's
And
telling Vanessa where they are, and that's
right.
when Mangle like jumps up on the car and starts breaking the
Oh,
glass.
that was fun though. I liked her driving
Yeah,
around with
I
Mangle
really
on
like
her.
that.
I didn't think her truck was still going to drive after she like launched it
Nope.
off the side of a road
Yeah,
into a tree, but it kept going, and she ends up
And
crashing
then
it into those people's houses. She launches
yeah,
Mangle through
it,
into
like
Freddy.
stops right in front of the house. Yeah,
Yeah,
stops right in front of the house. Mangle just flies through the window and hits Toy Freddy before he can kill the people.
right.
And
And then he
before
starts
that,
shutting them down though, right? Mike has the
yeah,
ability to
Will,
shut them
yeah,
down from
yeah,
inside
because
the
Toy
console.
Bunny's about to kill the people, and then Michael shuts him down, and then he like stops.
Right. And he sees though there's still one little blip left on the map, and
And
that's
it's at his house.
right. And it's Toy Chica taking Abby back to bed, right? Carrie her
Yeah,
to
and
bed.
then the puppet, like, she puts Abby in the bed, and then the chest starts cracking, and then the puppet jumps out and like possesses Abby.
I thought that was cool when it just kind of like burst
Yeah,
open. Yeah, and then you get
that
to
was
see
really
it
cool.
after the fact. It's just like an open metal chest where this nightmare
Yeah,
popped out. But yeah, I was with it. Her turning her into that, and I think maybe to Logan's point, a little bit, it almost walks a line of Insidious or The Conjuring, where it becomes like
Yeah.
demonic almost looking
Yeah.
possession with the
Yes.
super white
Yes.
eyes and the. So I could see some of that for sure. But I liked her. They are at the house. We forgot to mention that Mike did meet Charlotte's dad, who was the only one who's still
Yeah,
out
Henry.
there.
That's how he
Henry.
figured out the location.
Right.
Also, an honorable mention to from later in the movie when Michael was in the pizzeria. This is probably one of my favorite parts. Balloon Boy's laughing, and then he enters the
Oh yeah,
office,
he
and I love how just
kills Balloon
Michael
Boy.
runs over to him and just like twists his head and tears it off and just throws it on the ground.
Which is cool because he has the Balloon Boy keeps popping up. If you remember in the first one, the little doll of
Yeah,
Balloon
he
Boy
keeps
keeps
popping
popping
up,
up
yeah.
over and over again. So it's kind of
Yeah,
like,
and scaring him.
And then Balloon
Yeah,
Boy in the
finally
water
gets his
when they
revenge.
went back to the when they
Oh,
were
Oh
yeah.
at the
yeah,
pizzeria.
with his
Yeah.
fan, he
Which
almost
is-
got him. Yeah.
I was really hoping Balloon Boy would just take his batteries and leave because that's what he does in FNAF 2. He
Yes.
just takes your batteries.
Yeah.
He never kills you. So I was
He
really
just
hoping that
takes
would
the
happen, but
batteries and
he just
laughs
kills
at
him
you.
instead. So yeah.
Yeah, he just takes the batteries and laughs at you, and then he eventually like gives them back and leaves. But he does that because Withered Foxy is scared by the light. So if you don't have a light, you can't do anything.
And then the fox or Mangle wasn't tricked by the mask either, right? Like you can't.
No,
Mangle was
was.
tricked.
Or
Yeah, Mangle was.
was.
Foxy was
Withered
the only
Foxy
one.
isn't. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And the
Yeah, 'cause I
puppet.
remember one
And the
where it
puppet,
was
yeah.
like, it's not working. It's not working. But they get
Yeah.
Mike takes off back to Vanessa gets picked up by Mike's buddy who works with him, the security guard from the first
Yeah.
movie. He's like, I need to get to Mike's house. Mike's already on the way there.
So
We
that's
keep-
who that was?
Yeah,
I was really
it was
confused
his
on who that
friend.
was.
Yeah, it was his friend. He had helped him paint the house at the beginning of the movie, but I
Mhm.
think
Yeah,
they
I
had
remember
jobs
that.
together in the first one at the mall, maybe. But
Oh, maybe. I forgot the
because
mall
I think
even
he was the
existed.
one reading the dream theory when he sat down with Mike to eat lunch at the mall, and then Mike sees the
Yeah,
little kid getting taken and goes and attacks that
Oh, yeah.
kid's dad. Either way, in this one, we end up with Mike, Vanessa, and Charlotte and Abby all at the house together. But Vanessa's dad had given Mike a music box and was like,
And then
"This
he
is
used the music box, yeah.
right. This is the only
And
thing that would keep her calm when she was littler, when she was something like that." And they go to turn it on, and once the music starts, that's when the evil is torn free from Abby.
Abby. Luckily, Abby does not die. I honestly got really scared, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch the third one if Abby's not alive. I'm actually
Yeah.
just gonna leave the movie theater right now if like Abby dies.
And that's, hey, we're from the generation where Optimus Prime died in the original Transformers cartoon movie. And you talk about leaving you on a sour note. Yeah. And there was no Optimus coming back. It was just like, okay, our hero's gone. Thanks. You ruined everything.
Wow, that sucks.
So she breaks free. And now I don't remember the end 100% right here. But she does
They,
take
like-
over Vanessa. But does Mike tells her, like, I don't want anything to do with you right now. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what happens at the end
Shot
is
it.
like
Yeah.
all of the animatronics like come in their
Animatronics
house.
come back on and,
And
then
then-
enter the house.
Yeah, and then the older
Michael
ones.
Afton is there, yeah.
They
Oh
fall
yeah,
apart.
Michael Afton is there, and
Michael Afton's like, we're gonna take you out if you don't like come with me, Vanessa. If you don't come with me, I'm gonna have to take you out.
Mhm.
Well, and
And
he's
then-
like, he said something though, right? About who was he talking about when he's like, once we're gone, we can't hold him back anymore. The little ghost boy said that. He's like,
oh, he was talking about Afton because he was
Uh,
trapped in the safe room.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Because like they left the safe room to go help Abby, but since they left the pizzeria, now they can't keep Afton at bay, so they
Mhm.
went to go help Abby. So they
Right.
absolutely destroy the toy animatronics, which I love because on YouTube I like watching the animations where the animatronics fight.
Yeah.
I just think that's really
No, I
cool.
thought it was
and
rad when Freddy came in. I was so excited to see Freddy do his thing. Like
I
just
like
love
how Freddy
man.
just like tore
Yeah.
off like Toy Freddy's thing and just like threw
Yeah,
it.
Right.
I think that's
Um,
again where it lost me because like,
I can see where you're coming
why
from.
are they fighting? Why are they fighting?
Well,
and, like-
I was taking it because the ghost kids knew that this evil was controlling all the other ones, and they were just trying to
Yeah.
stop the vessels.
Yeah.
I do really like how Foxy like broke down the window and like hooked Toy Bonnie in the eye and just like took him into the yard.
And
What
then
did
it
Wither
was
Bonnie
kind of
do
sad
again?
though, watching Abby get all bummed out when all her
Yeah,
friends start shutting down. Their eyes are like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they all die.
Yeah, because they're not in the pizzeria anymore.
Right.
Because they
And-
still had that network thing that we were talking about in the second one.
Right. And they could
'Cause they
do
still
that,
had
but
that
it was,
connected,
and that's what
yeah.
they even said. Like they don't have any juice left. Like all they had was enough
Yeah.
to save you and do that. Mike
Yeah.
is going to take Abby with his friend. I think they're going to go have a new life. And Vanessa's standing there all heartbroken. You know, her dad was a murderer. The only person she ever cared about's now gone. And then we see
The puppet possesses her.
her eyes go
Yeah.
straight down those black stripes.
Which, like, how did they all forget the puppet was still in the house?
I don't get why
Like,
he
how
stopped
did you
playing.
forget that?
I think the dumbest thing is he stops playing the music box.
Right.
Yeah,
I
he
thought the
did
same
What are we
thing.
doing? Why did he stop the music
Yeah.
box?
You let her get away. Like, what?
The one thing that took the demon out of the girl, you turn that off and be like, no, just leave that music
Yeah,
box.
that
on.
was.
That's the #1 jam from now on. And
Yeah,
then
but
we
that was
get a short bit of
Post-credit
credits.
scenes.
Yep, and we get a short bit of credits,
Yeah.
and then the movie theater went
Um,
nuts when we see. So what is
Like-
that figure? What's that figure called? That
So,
original golden
all
bunny or
the-
whatever.
So all the
Oh, s-
people like come into the building and like they find the secret room. They come in there, like all the friends are in there because they're trying to get as much stuff for
A
Fazbear
haunted
Frights.
house.
Yeah, the haunted house that's called Fazbear Frights. But they're just like taking everything they can, and then they find Springtrap, and then they put him in the pack. But
right.
yeah, his
Like,
name is
so that's his
Springtrap.
name,
That was
Springtrap.
William Afton. Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
so
was William Afton.
Yeah, he is the yellow rabbit, which the yellow rabbit's name is Spring Bonnie, but he is
Yeah.
that yellow rabbit, just kind of rotted and like
Mhm.
in
Like
in the
fused
games.
to the suit.
Yeah, in the games, the
He put
Fazbear's
it
Frights
on, right?
attraction.
And, like the spring trap went off inside of it, or
Yeah, the
like,
spring lock. So it's like a spring lock mechanism that allows
Like
it to be used
close in on
as
him.
both a suit and an animatronic, and that's what they did with Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, who were the original two, and
Yeah.
and basically Springtrap like his like the spring locks
So-
go off and kill him, and then but like he's not really dead because he fuses with the
Yeah.
suit, whatever.
He
And then
always comes
he
back.
rots for like and the games
30
he rots
years.
for like 30 years in that room, and then they set up like
Wakes
a
up.
haunted house, and they
And
just
they,
find
like,
him
take
because they
him.
look at the old location.
oh,
Yeah,
But
and
in
then
this,
he
I'm
just
assuming it's
randomly
not going to
wakes
be that big of a time skip at all. But
right, because they're
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, this is one of the original ones, and then they
Mhm.
came.
Yeah, they
to
found
go
him like
around and
immediately,
see it.
which is kind of weird because he was already rotted. Like
Yeah.
already he was rotted, which was kind of weird.
But
Um,
that's the. Was there any other after credits after that one? That's the only one I saw. I don't know.
There
that's,
was-
no, I don't think there is.
My mom
Is there?
showed my mom showed me a video. She's like, "Here, come over. There's something else." I forgot what it was though. I really don't remember. It wasn't anything to do with Springtrap or anything. It didn't have
Yeah,
anything to do with the characters.
But I would
yeah.
say what they did do is leave this thing completely wide open for a sequel.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was like so many missing ends, like, or
Yeah.
there was like so many cliffhangers. That's what I meant to
Right.
say.
Which is,
So,
I mean,
like-
it's typical of Scott Cawthon, because in every
Yep,
game,
exactly.
it just leaves you with more questions than
Then answer,
More questions. Yeah.
which is tricky sometimes.
it is.
So, before we get into the rating of this, and we will rate this out of five spring
Five.
traps out of 5 spring
Five
traps. So
spring
start
traps.
thinking about your answer. But we will just go around the horn here, and we're gonna start with Lil Duke Spooky because I forgot what he sounds like. I don't even.
Yeah, he hasn't talked this whole time.
Yeah,
I
you
have
know,
had
this whole time.
nothing to add this entire time because I've sat through 2 movies, numerous conversations with my son. I've seen comic books, I've seen books. I still don't know what the hell is going on in this entire thing. And
Which
there's
is
so much to it, and there are so many little hidden jokes and things. there's different versions of every character. At the end of it, I was like, Logan, are these things animatronic robots? Are they ghosts? Are they what the hell
All of the above.
is this about? And it's exactly that. It's all of it. It's just
Yes,
everything.
it's all.
So okay, taking away all the convolution and everything. I mean, was there anything you had a good time with sitting in the movie
Yes.
theater?
So the first one I was done with that. We saw that was on during COVID, and so it came out and we watched
Oh,
it
right.
streaming because it came out in the
Yeah.
theater but streamed the same day. So we just watched it at home, and I was like, I'm glad I watched that at home because I didn't have to pay money to experience that.
Right.
Although I've bought my kid every game, so I've spent like hundreds of dollars on this franchise and toys and all the other stuff. But yeah, for the first time, I think ever, maybe since Pokemon, I realized this is something that's not for me. And that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
But I do love, like you said, I love the aesthetic of it. I love the way that it looks. Every time they're not at Freddy's, I lose interest. Like whenever they're at Freddy's, I'm like, hell yeah, show more of that, you know?
Yeah.
I could just see puppets murdering people the whole time and be so much happier than having any plot whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree with that. I fully agree with that. It needs
But
to be more like in the
I saw a
pizzeria.
lot of comparisons online where people are talking about, that Willy's Wonderland did it almost better. That Nicolas Cage
Yes.
movie, because
Honestly, that movie is so funny.
it is. It's amazing.
Yeah, Dad, you have to show me that. You definitely have to show me that.
Oh,
I
you
haven't
should.
seen it, so
Oh, it's
You haven't seen
so it's Nicolas
Dang.
Cage at Five Nights at Freddy's.
It's pretty much an
Nicolas
R-rated,
Cage-
yeah.
Yeah, it's R-rated, but not for anything outside of. I think it's all just the gore. It's gorier than when he's killing these animatronics. He's killing them.
nice.
But he doesn't
just-
speak a whole
yeah.
word through the whole movie. He just slams this pop that he loves and plays pinball, and then goes and murders animatronics. It's great. I
Sounds
mean,
like a
it's-
Nicolas Cage movie.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I it's not for me, and that's okay. But I did enjoy watching it, especially the second one. I thought that there was enough in there that it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Personally, I'll jump on next. I liked this more than the first one. I had a ton of fun with it. I think I'm not as committed to the lore as a lot of people, so I think it's easier for me to just accept what comes as what comes. But the understanding that this is going to be a big mess of a plot the whole time anyway, I'm just going to have fun. And if there's one thing that it was, and I'm kind of with you, I would spend the whole movie inside the pizzeria.
Yeah.
Like shoot a whole movie like one night at Freddy's, you really get locked down in there or something. And I would definitely watch that movie because Freddy's is just such a cool environment. It's Chuck E. Cheese, it's a lot of places where we've all been to something similar. So it's easy to identify with, oh yeah, I've been to a birthday party at something like that, or I've gone to something like that. But as a whole, I liked it more than the first movie because I think it didn't spend quite as much time on the lore. We did get some kind of messy stuff, but I feel like in the first one, we were back in Mike's dream all the time, continuing chasing his brother around. Whereas in this, it's like, okay, we know who these characters are. We know what they're doing. Let's sprinkle a little more nonsense on top, but at the same time, we're going to give you some action. We're going to have a good time. And so, yeah, that's my kind of take. Logan, you want to go next? What is your take on FNAF 2?
Sure. I definitely don't think I liked it as much as the first one. It did not feel nearly as grounded to me. I appreciated that the first one stayed grounded and didn't kind of stray away from, not even necessarily like stray away from the faithfulness of the original game, because it definitely does a lot different from the original game. But like it feels like a lot more like you're just enclosed in this pizzeria just trying to survive. And that's, I think, a lot of what kind of got me into the original Five Nights at Freddy's and why I like the original Five Nights at Freddy's game so much, is that like it feels so like enclosed and dingy, and the environments are all there, and even like the color palettes in a way of those original games, like you can immediately recognize if you're talking about FNAF, like
Exactly.
the third one is like all greens, the second one is more blues, the first one is like brown and grays. And I feel like with the second movie, it just the scale got upped, and I didn't really like it as much with the scale upped. Which I know is kind of probably the opposite from what a lot of other people think. But like when Chica was like at a science fair and like the whole like Faz Fest thing, I was just like,
Yeah,
what?
like what is
What?
that? Yeah.
What is going on here? So I definitely didn't like that as much. I do appreciate like all the references, obviously, but I feel like that's kind of most of what it had going for it was just these references. And like if you're not a diehard fan of FNAF, it's
You
hard
don't really
to
get them.
enjoy it as
Okay.
much.
All right. All right. I like it. Okay, Mr. Logan, you're up next. What are your give us your
Yeah.
overall impressions of FNAF
Okay.
2?
I personally enjoyed it. I heard you guys saying like you said you don't want a security breach. I feel like I kind of do want that just as like out of curiosity, like what it would be like. What would the references would be like? Would it be anything near like the actual game? Anything like that? I just kind of curious. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was a good movie. Lots of references. Let's see.
All right.
I
No,
had
that's
so
good.
much to say. I had so much to say. Now it's all gone.
That's how it goes when you get in front of your microphone. All of a
Yes,
sudden you're
it
like,
is. So is.
that's all, folks. But
Yep.
okay, let's do some scoring. Logan, we will start with you.
Which
Out
one?
of
Me? Okay.
out of
Which one?
Logan.
Lil Duke Logan.
Me. Okay.
So yes, and then you got
Um.
Logan Ghostly. So Lil Duke Logan,
Yes.
out of 5 spring traps, how many would you give Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
I'm gonna go a little above the middle, and I'm gonna say 3 spring traps out of 5. So I think it was pretty Cool.
Nice.
uh,
All right, Lil Duke Spooky, out of 5 spring traps, how many you giving Five Nights at Freddy's 2?
Two spring traps.
Okay.
Because I'm never
unbelievable.
watching it again. But I get that everybody, that the people that love it, and I respect it for that.
2 for
Okay.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. 2 for 2.
All right, Logan, what about you? Out of 5 spring
Um,
traps?
Shoot, I'm probably gonna have to say like I'll meet in the middle, go 2.5. But I think if it wasn't tied to the FNAF property and was its own movie, I think it'd probably be a 1.5 or a 1.
Oh, dang. Okay. That was, you know what? Good analysis. I like that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to go with a 3. I'm with Logan on this one.
Yeah,
I just had a good time. It was fun. It was a popcorn movie. And
it
I
was.
think again for me it was the environment as well. I was taking my youngest, to see
Mhm.
her first movie ever, so there was just excitement around that. And I like the animatronics. I just love the look. I like puppets. I like the look, and I think if the goal was to make a movie that represents a game that is a super huge mess of plot holes and all kinds of crazy madness going on throughout it, I feel like they did that beautifully. Beautifully. So, Five Nights at Freddy's 2. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I'm sure it's going to be in the theater for a little bit. I have no
Yeah.
doubts that we will get a part 3, as this has already done close to like 70 or 80 million in its opening weekend. So I really think, even in the face of, and I do like that for it too. I love when a movie comes out that critics pander across the board and fans are like, forget you, dude. We had
Yeah.
fun. We had a good
Yeah.
time. It doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah, it's not for them, and I like that. And that's why I gave it 2, because it's not for me, but I get it. I get why people like it.
Right. Get why it's important and why it's fun
Yeah.
and why
Yeah.
it's, me and you will go see Scream 7 as soon as it comes out. Like, even if just because we were raised on it, It's
Starring the
always
same guys from this movie.
right. Starring the 2 guys from this movie. Okay, so let's take a second, do a little pause for the living. This is the segment of the show where we just take a couple minutes, talk about how we can be a little bit cooler, kinder, nicer, and all that stuff. And I had a couple ideas that I was going to bring to the table today. I was kind of just ruminating on it. I did a lot of writing last night. And then I was like, you know what? We're here with our kids, so we're just going to talk about dad stuff. And we're going to do that for the pause for the living. It is my belief, and this really is pause for the living. I think we need to pause more as parents for our children. We need to slow down. We need to slow down. And so all the writing I was doing last night, I'm pretty sure I suffer from success addiction. And it's a real thing. I put about 7-8 pages of writing into it. But that feeling of like accomplishment, like if I am not actively accomplishing something, then I feel less, or I feel kind of worthless. If I'm not producing, I feel like I'm a little bit less. In my corporate life, before I kind of, took that big step back and decided to tattoo and buy some of my own time back, in my corporate life, there were a lot of times where I would be working 80, 90, 100 hours a week because I was always on call, whether I was at home on my computer, whether I was doing this. And I'm so grateful now that I feel like my perspective has changed a bit, because my most important things are like him right there, my oldest daughter, my youngest daughter. And I find myself like, those are the most important times in my life, is being with the people who actually mean something to me and being with the people who matter. As parents in this increasingly noisy world, you know what I mean? This increasingly 6'7", like all these, you know what I mean? In this increasingly noisy world that we live in, how often do we stop and, even sometimes he might even be able to tell you, but there'll be times where I'll just wake up and I'm thinking about my kids, and I'll just send them a message like, yo, I'm thinking about you right now. I just hope you know I love the crap out of you. Like, you are the freaking best. You're, whatever the case may be. But too often, I think as adults, we get caught up in the chase of this idea of success. Somebody tells us success equates to a house that costs this much. You got to have a boat. You got to have an extra car. You got to have the title. You got to have the rewards for everything. You got to have all this stuff for the awards. When the thing that truly matters, I think at the end of the day, is our children. It's our family. It's it's our people. And being able to do this with these two, we're going to have this video probably forever. I'm going to have this thing locked down on my hard drive. We'll be able to go back, 10 years from now when my kid's pushing 30 and your kid's, coming up on 25 or something like that. We'll be able to look back and see this and say, you know what? I'm happy that I took the time. Like when we put together this idea, I was like, this is the best ever. I have one podcast recorded right before my dad passed away that I still go back and I'll listen to sometimes because I can hear his voice. And, you don't really think about those things, it's like you don't really think about those things. So my encouragement and my pause for the living today is to truly pause for the people in your life. Just slow down. I see it in my kids. Like they have friends that they are close with, and I love seeing that. I'm like, that's what matters. Osro like matters. People like that matter. It's the people in your life. That's the only thing. Nobody's going to give a crap about what you did for whatever company or what you did for this or that, because 9 times out of 10, in my experience, was we were just expendable. As soon as you leave that job, nobody's really going to miss you for maybe more than 10 minutes, and they're just going to hire somebody else to plug right in to keep the wheels running. So I think it's on us as dads, and it's on us as moms, and it's on us as just human beings and friends, just to take a moment, even if it's only 10, 15, 30 seconds, and recognize. Just go tell those people you care about and just say, I care about you, man. I hope you know that. And that's all it is. That's all it is. So pause for the living. We are the living. Take a moment. Be with the living. Be with the living. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to that little segment? Anything?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to say that, I feel that too. I'm constantly trying to like make a movie or a podcast or whatever. And then the little amount of time that I have spare where I just want to play a freaking video game or something, Yeah. It's really tough. And then, Logan comes in and he wants my attention. He wants to tell me about this thing that he saw in this video about Five Nights at Freddy's. And it's important to like stop and listen to what he has to say, because I want him to know more than anything that no matter what is going on in my world, what he has to say is the most important thing to me.
You matter, and that's how you show someone they matter. Is you be.
I want him to feel like he matters. Exactly.
You want and not like a superficial matter. It's not just like telling
Right.
you I love you because I love you. It's I'm
Right.
looking you right dead in the eyes. I am so present with you, you can't deny me. And I'm like, yo, I love you. Like
Yeah.
I love you, dude.
Yeah.
And you know, as time goes on, they seem to be that really is the only moments that matter. You know what I mean? It's
100%.
taking
Yeah.
the time to stop and to hopefully be examples for our children to not like I don't want my kids to get caught in that corporate nightmare that I was in.
No. Yeah.
You know, I don't want them to sell their soul out for something, you know, for however many bucks an hour or do something like that.
I don't want them to base their success on a job
Right.
or what they do. The success is that you're a great freaking person.
Yes.
You know, and I can tell your Logan's a great kid too, you know,
Yeah,
because
well, yours too, dude. I've had a blast chatting with this kid.
yeah, we got two good ones here.
And
So
to be able to say,
you.
you know what, even when I'm not producing, and my big thing was I would feel like if I did rest, I felt guilty about it.
totally.
I felt guilty for not doing something. Like I perpetual have to be moving forward towards a goal. And it did produce some good things in my life. Like I've got boxes full of military awards. I was 12 years ahead of my peer group. Took a corporate company. We were the #1 team in the whole nation. This, you know, for our time slot or whatever, across all these things. But it was always so short-lived and never enough. I was constantly chasing that next thing. And I think it's important to just be like, I can do nothing, and that's okay. I really can, and that's okay. It is okay to rest.
Yeah.
We need to rest. It is very okay. And I think that just goes right back to, you know, identify your priorities. Like my #1 priority is just if I could live on some little commune somewhere with my family and just hang out with them all day, you know, my big extended family and stuff like that. And not saying we're all just, we never go anywhere, don't go out into the world, but just like I know that I can walk next door and see my people because that brings me the biggest, warmest heart that I could ever imagine is being with my friends, my family, and above all else, you know, my kiddos, man. It's everything. So awesome sauce. Next week, we are coming back regularly scheduled programming. We are out of the holiday season, so we are going to be doing next week I'm going to be recording with Bruce, and we're going to be talking about Santa's sleigh, which is a really, I think you might like it, dude. It's so nonsensical. You might actually dig it. We're going to be doing that. And then the week after, you and I will be hopping back on with Oculus, which I'm very excited to talk about. Okay. So any other Logans, all the Logans on the call, did you have anything you wanted to say before we do our salutations and goodbye?
Not really.
That message was really heartfelt, and I really
It
appreciate it.
was.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
we mean every word of it, you
also-
guys. We talk about you a lot when you're not on here. We sit and talk about like how can we be better dads, man, for our kids and stuff like that. All right, so be sure to like and subscribe to get more deep dives into fun horror flicks and all that good stuff. And we'll be back next week. Me and B Money, you're gonna
Hit
get
the like button.
Yeah.
Hit that subscribe button.
I need you guys to
Cody's
do that
on.
all the time. That's perfect. All right, for the Horror Pop Extravaganza, I have been Pops Ghostly.
Lil Duke Spooky.
Logan.
Lil Duke Spooky Jr.
All right, and we will talk to you next week.
No! No! No!
Horror Pop Extravaganza.